we will go over a few FAQs. So if you have a question, please use the question box, and we'll try to get to all of the questions as time allows. If we do run out of time, we will try to send a summary of the questions and our answers to the group. And we will be recording and are recording this, so if everything goes well, we will make this available to you. And we do plan on hosting a few more webinars, and we hope to do these the third Friday of every month. Our agenda for today is, we hope you gain a better understanding of how to use the calendars and why they are so important. Throughout our webinar, we're going to have a few short survey questions, and we're going to give you the results of those. And when we get towards the end, you will get to help us determine what our next webinar topic will be. So to start out with, we will have a poll. And Scott, if you can open the poll here. And if you all could answer. And as soon as we have a few people answering our poll, we'll show our results. Right, looks like we've had a few people vote, and I think we can go ahead and close this. And so, sounds like quite a few of you have been keeping your calendar up to date, so very good. And next we'll go over where our calendars are located in Ultriva. We have our main plant calendar, and if you have the internal module, you will also have work centers set up from within your plant, and each work center would then have their own calendar. And each supplier has their calendar as well. And this brings us to our next question. And Scott, if you could put that up for the attendees, please. Have you been encouraging your suppliers to update their calendar? Right, like we've had quite a few people vote, and it looks like we're kind of tied. Some people have, and some people aren't so sure, and some people haven't. All right. So, why are these calendars important? For your plant or your work center, it prevents that receive date from being on a holiday or non-working day for you. And for the supplier, for their calendar, it prevents the calculated ship date from being on their holiday or non-working day. And so next I thought I would go over just a little bit, not too technical, but just a little bit of how the supplier calendar gets used for that calculation. This is just kind of a basic overview. It's certainly not going to be for every scenario, but in general, you release the card to your supplier, and at that date and time, that gets set for that card. And then Ultriva checks the lead time for that item to see how long it's going to take the supplier to build that. And then it's going to add that lead time to that release date and time. And it's going to calculate when the supplier should ship. And it's going to take account in any of the holidays that might be within that lead time. And then if once it gets that ship date, if it's on a non-working day, Ultriva then moves that to the next supplier working day. And for the plant, generally, once we get that supplier ship date, we add the transit time to that. So how long it's going to take to get from them to you. And then we check your calendar to see if that date is a working day for you. And then if it is, it sets that required receive date. And then if that date happens to be a non-working day for you, Ultriva is then going to select the next working day as your required receive date. All right, so next, that kind of takes care of the basics as how, in the background, what's going on and what happened. All right. So, how many of you have learned something so far? If you've learned something so far, that's raise your hand. All right, we've had a few people raise their hands. That's good. I'm glad some of you are learning. All right, so we are doing this demo using the Ultriva version 7.5. And in order to do some of the actions that we're doing, you would need to be a plant administrator in order to edit the calendars and do some of these things. So, and for the suppliers do have their calendars. They would also have to be a supplier administrator. So the first thing I want to do is take a look at our calendars. We'll click on Admin, Calendar. And then I want to look at the business view calendar here just for a moment. And as we can see, we have some, somebody forgot to do this. We have some working days and non-working days. We have non-working days on Saturday and Sunday. If by chance these were not in red already, we could click on them and convert it to a holiday. But since these are already like that, does anybody know, if you know how we can set these Saturday and Sunday as a working day, you know how to do that, please raise your hand. All right. Are there people that know how to do this? So this is controlled in a configuration option. And if we click on My Account and My Business Unit, we have Saturday and Sundays here check mark. If I were to uncheck Saturday, I'm going to make that a working day for us and save that, and then go back to Admin Calendar. You can now see that Saturdays are working days for us. So that would be much easier than having to click every single Saturday and make that a holiday for us. Now, similar to our plant here, the suppliers can have the non-working day set like this as well. Very similar. We would go to Admin, Supplier, and this is for each supplier, and we edit the one we want, and we can set whatever working days or non-working days for them as well. And so now, if we were to look at this supplier's calendar by going to More Options Calendar, you can now see that they have every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. Okay. Now, for these options, each supplier would need to be done separately. Sorry about that. Go back. Okay, so if we edit the supplier, each supplier has to be done separately, and you are the only one that can control their weekly holidays. They do not have access to this. All right. So now that you know about our calendars and the supplier calendars, we can learn a little bit more about this. If we go back here to we'll go back to the business calendar view. It shows us our nice calendar. If we want to put in a holiday, or maybe Thanksgiving, we can click on the 28th. And save that. And now that is in ink, and it's converted to a holiday for us. If you misspell something, or you need to change your description, you can click on that edit it, and then it will bring it up so you can change your description again. And if you put this in and you click the wrong day or things change, you can go back here to your observed holidays summary and highlight that and delete it. If you want to delete your holiday, I do. All right. So you can also add your holiday here as well. Would be similar to the other one. We wanted to add a holiday in April. We're going to be doing inventory. So we now have that holiday in here. If you're going to be shut down for an extended period of time, for a whole week or something like that, you can do a date range. And one thing about doing, you know, a date range, it's all nice that you have it in here. We put our start date and our end date. But if you're really going to be down for an extended period of time, it's always nice to notify your suppliers of that. They might not have access to your calendar, or they might not be viewing it daily. So if you're just for good general overall communication, certainly please let them know. And you know, if they're going to be down for 2 or 3 weeks as well, they should be letting you know also. Right, and as you can see, it did each day separately here for us being shut down for that entire week. And if we need to, we can always delete one of these. And again, if we edit, we're editing our description. And the next little button is Copy Holidays. Raise your hand if any of you have ever used the Copy Holidays or cloning a calendar. A few people have. All right, looks like we got about 5 or 6 people that have done that. Great, great. So what we can do here is we can copy our holidays, and then we get a choice of where we want to copy these holidays to. If you have work centers set up, you can check your work centers and copy the holidays to all of them. And the same for any of your suppliers. And a word of warning about this is if you do use this, if they have any holidays entered, it's going to completely wipe them out. So if they put in, that they're going to be shut down for a few days at any time, it's going to just copy this directly to them and overwrite it. So use it with caution. All right, so this is our plant calendar. The supplier can also control their own calendar, and it's very similar. If you needed to walk them through it, I'm going to switch and be a supplier now. So I'm a supplier. So they would then do a very similar thing. They would go to admin and calendar, and similar buttons here. They can add here on this one. They can do a date range just like you, and they can edit an existing entry, or they can delete. And as you can see, they do not have the nice little copy or clone button because we don't want them doing that action. And they also have this business calendar view as well. And same thing, they can click on a day and create a new non-working day. All right, and there's their view. Something that I forgot to point out is you can change your years up here. Right now we're on 2013. You can change that and go into 2014, and even further into the future here. And we can go back to current year. As you can see, the past days are grayed out, and it only lets us change our stuff here in the future. Right. Lastly, well, maybe not lastly, let's go back to the plant here. If you are not sure of something that we have gone over, we're here on the calendar, and we're like, oh, I forgot what she said about that. What you can do, if your version supports it, click on this How Do I? It will open up a nice little thing about the calendar and go through some of the things that we just went through here today. If this is not supported yet in the version that you're on, there hopefully is a help up here. If you click on the help, it will open this up, and you can see the administrator reference guide. Scroll down, go to the calendar. Click on that, and kind of get to the same place. All right. We have another question for you to answer, and Scott, if you could bring up the third question. All right. And, so looks like several of you already knew what was going on, and it looks like some of you learned quite a bit. So very good. Scott, is there anything that you would like to add at this time?
The main thing that I wanted to stress with this is, and this kind of will lead into our next question, is this is our first opportunity of sharing this type of information via webinar with you as our customer base. And so what we're really trying to do is start opening this door. The next question that Laura's going to launch here in a second is asking, what would you like to see next? So we're trying to work with you, understand what kind of information you would like to have shared, how is this best shared with you, and we'll continue to have these. And I would ask for you to participate in future webinars as well to make sure that we're getting good information out to you as our customer base.
Right, very good. And so one of our last questions here is, we would like for you to help us choose what our next topic is going to be. So on this, we have shipping rules, how to use those and configure them, the user group, the system versus local, and how to create the user group, an alert message digest, which would create a nice email alert in a grid form or tabular form. That is pretty neat if you've not been exposed to that. And the home page overview, what each of those panels are and how to interpret them. Let's open just a few more seconds here. We've got quite a few votes. All right, very good. So it looks like the clear winner here for our next one will be going over the shipping rules and when you should use them and how to configure them. And it looks like we have a little bit of interest in some of these other things as well. So I thank you all very much for your time. I hope you found this informative and can attend some of these events in the future. All right, thank you all very much.